Hi guys, this is Mrs. Neal. I am so sorry about all of the craziness with Class Connects, but I'm going to go ahead and start with our enrichment for today. Alright, as always, this session will be recorded for learning purposes, which include a lesson review for students who are absent, students who want to review for a test, and will be distributed for learning purposes. And our theme, this is my time. Excellence is not an act, but a habit. This is my time to work hard, to learn, to achieve, to grow, to prepare, and to have joy in my accomplishments. This is AZVA in pursuit of excellence, and my time is now. All right, our objective today. I will learn about irony and the function it has in writing. I will then use the knowledge I've gained to answer questions and complete activities. Unfortunately, you will not be completing the activities because you are not here with me, sadly, but we will go over irony and the function it has in writing. Alright, so irony. Irony is a figure of speech in which words are used in such a way that their intended meaning is different from the actual meaning of the words. You guys should have all heard of irony before. We like to say a lot of things and say, oh, that's kind of ironic. And irony is very important in writing. It may also be a situation that may end up in quite a different way than what is generally anticipated. In simple words, it's a difference between the appearance and the reality. So here's a funny picture for you. We have some birds that are sitting on a branch and a little boy opening his mouth for snow. And the birds think, hey, are you thinking what I'm thinking? So it's ironic that his mouth is out underneath birds catching snow, but he unfortunately may catch something quite different. Here are some really funny, ironic pictures. So you see where it says, think safety first, as a man is putting up this banner, but yet he is not safely putting up the banner. He is standing on railings. So it's ironic that he wants people to be safe, but he's not being safe himself. Below we see a puppy dog who ate his certificate of obedience training. It's ironic because he got a certificate for being a good dog, but him chewing it up on the floor shows he may need some more training. In the middle picture, we see a bird on a sign that says no birds. He's kind of, saying, hey, I can do what I want, which is ironic. The one next to it, nothing is written in stone. It's ironic because there is something written in stone. And I like the one on top with the Scrabble board where it's supposed to spell almost, but it is not quite the whole word because you're missing the T, so it's almost the full word. Some more examples of YouTube. Of irony. Goodness. All right. Let me start over. Examples of irony. I posted a video on YouTube about how boring and useless YouTube is. The name of Britain's biggest dog was Tiny. You laugh at a person who slips stepping on a banana peel, and the next thing you know, you slip too. The butter is as soft as a marble piece. Oh great, now you have broken my new camera. So the last one, we see some dialogue there where it's ironic because he's using that understatement. Verbal, situational, and dramatic irony. There's lots of different ways that irony is presented in writing, and we're going to take a quick look at all of these. So on the grounds of the above definition, we distinguish two basic kinds of irony, verbal and situational. Verbal irony involves when one does not mean something. When in response to a foolish idea, we say, what a great idea, is a verbal irony. So it's really making a comment even though you actually don't mean it. A situational irony occurs, for instance, a man chuckling at the misfortune of the other even when the same misfortune in complete unawareness is befalling him. So maybe something where he's laughing at his friend because his friend's girlfriend left him, but ironically at home maybe his wife is packing her bags and leaving as well. That would be situational irony. Dramatic irony, the characters are oblivious of the situation, but the audience is not. So the characters don't know what's happening to them, but the audience does. So this would be something where a character is going through a hard time. and the reader understands what's about to happen, even though the characters do not. Ironic tone. An ironic tone is an expression of a writer's attitudes towards the subject, often conveyed using sarcasm, exaggeration, or understatement. Sarcasm is a big one. An ironic tone calls attention to the difference between the way a subject is described and what is actually true about that subject. Irony is often used for satirical writing, which means comical writing, which commonly seeks to criticize its subject. An ironic tone can also be created through dialogue choices. For example, a wife finds her husband boring and predictable might remark, "I just never know what you're going to say next," because the reader knows that the opposite is true. The dialogue creates a tone of irony. Sarcasm is one of the most overt methods to create an ironic tone, but irony often depends on more subtle, understated language to make its point. This is a really fun picture. Thinking about how to make this picture ironic. For all you wrestling fans out there, my husband's a very big wrestling fan, so this is a fun little picture I threw in. Alitotes is a figure of speech which employs an understatement by using double negatives, or in other words, positive statements expressed by negating its opposite expressions. I use double negatives all the time. It's something I just do, a quirk. That would be called a litote. For example, using the expression "not too bad" for very good is an understatement as well as a double negative statement that confirms a positive idea by negating the opposite. So instead of saying very good, you're saying the opposite and emphasizing it. Not too bad. Similarly, saying "she's not a beauty queen" means she's ugly, or saying "I'm not as young as I used to be," in order to avoid saying "I'm old. Litotes, therefore, is an intentional use of an understatement that renders an ironical effect. The function of irony. Why do we use irony? How does that make our writing successful? Like all other figures of speech, irony brings about some added meanings to a situation. Ironical statements and situations in literature develop readers' interest. Irony makes a work of literature more intriguing and forces the readers to use their imagination and comprehend the underlying meanings of the text. Moreover, real life is full of ironic expressions and situations. Therefore, the use of irony brings a work of literature closer to life. And that's it. It was a very quick little class today because you are talking about irony. So a couple of things I want you to keep in mind. You need to continue working through the unit. You do have your quiz, which is due on Friday. Irony will be something that will be on the quiz. The next 2 weeks, we are not going to be having enrichment or reteach because you have AZ merit. You should know where you're going. If you have any questions, you can ask your advisor because they will have that information. You do need to be focusing and looking at your announcements and emails that you get from me because even though we're not going to be having live classes, you will be getting an agenda of what needs to be worked on. Discussion boards are due on April 4th. Now that seems like it's far away, and it is a couple of weeks, but it's still a reminder. The poetry collection is due on the 7th. Just like you've done for every unit, you are putting and posting your writing piece and having others comment with your final draft being due a couple days later. Unit 4 locks on 4/16. If you have any questions, come to tutoring or help, as well as I am always available for IM or email. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and a happy, wacky Wednesday, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.